Hello there and welcome. This is going to be the fourth episode of my Hall of Fame cast series. I've had a week off from doing it because of frustration with patching this game. It's been absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to give you a bit of a horror story with what we've... This is the amount of patches there are for the game. Let me increase the size here so you can see it on the video. It goes from obviously 1.01, which is where we were when we first started this series, and we're now going to jump all the way up to 1.7. And the reason for that is these patches here, they did not give you the facility to disable Fog of War in a replay, which is not what you want in a Shoutcast, because you need to be able to see what both sides are doing at any one point. Other than that, it's just a really poor kind of perspective of what one player is doing, and it doesn't quite work out. So yeah, there were workarounds during the time, but they were quite... they didn't quite always work, and you get sync errors about halfway through the game, and that's really frustrating. Cause for me, I record live on Twitch, so I'd have to start all over again. So unfortunately, lost to us now are these great games from 2007. Obviously, we left the game in late 2006, so we can never see New Name versus Goggy, Ahenian versus Wasted. We're going to jump all the way up now to 1.71. Seph versus ffish. Seph's the guy that we last saw in episode 3, so it's going to be interesting to see how his strategies have developed. And also we're going to see him as Wehrmacht today, so that'll be good. And without further ado, let's get it loaded. And I will include the, whilst this loads, I will include the patch notes in the description below, so you can see what we're currently viewing in this game, like the state of the game, where it is, what's been patched, what has not yet to be patched. And yeah, you can see allied armor seems to have been heavily balanced and counterbalanced in the early stage of this game. Obviously the Sherm Calliope notably now has free to use rocket launcher, as opposed to, you know, having to spend munitions but at the expense of its main gun. That's notable. Good thing they've patched back into the game is Fog of War. We can now, well, a lack of Fog of War, we can now turn it off and have a look at what both sides are doing, which is absolutely brilliant. I can't believe they took that out. I hope it wasn't deliberate. But yeah, here we go. We've got Seph in the north, so it's reverse positions on Angerville, which gives the Wehrmacht a slight disadvantage. I don't know if at this stage of the game that disadvantage is as well known as it is now, but for a northern Wehrmacht player, let's have it. Ah, great, yeah, I'll have to click manually on that. For the northern Wehrmacht player, they can't, these strategic points here and there, the cut-offs aren't quite as easy to keep as if you were the southern player. Notably because of these hedgerows here and the strong house watching over this cut-off. This cut-off here is a lot more in the open, and its counterpart here is also a lot more further forward, so it's more difficult for the player to keep their territories. The southern player has a little bit more well-defended territories. So for the Wehrmacht, who is a slightly more defensive, faction, it is a little bit more difficult. But Seph, being the master that he is, maybe he's still in his, how shall we put it, apprentice stage of becoming a great player. I believe he would have been in finals of GameReplays tournaments by this point, however, so obviously he is at the forefront of the game. And he's against somebody I personally... Oh, let's go watch this work about. The engineer is clearly outmatched by the Vulture Grenadiers. And the Reborn clan, all the way back in 2007. Leave my 2v2 partner alone, that Whisper says. Obviously a whisper to Seph there.
We are losing ground.
And already the cut-off being taken away from the Wehrmacht player. Exactly what I was alluding to earlier. Seph eagerly going for the VPs, however, so slightly more, perhaps more tournament-based strategies and values that the two players, you know, prioritise. Ah, but Seph bleeding men to the rifleman. Pioneers ceasing their cap of the Americans' fuel. The delicately poised worker battle that we've all come to know and love. It can go either way. Obviously the player that has to move out, in and out of cover more is at a disadvantage in any worker battle. MG going to shred some riflemen here. Oh, but the Volksgrenadiers are so low on health. Yeah, still were forced to retreat even though the riflemen suppressed. And an excellent flanking manoeuvre from ffish. FS. FFIHS. A very difficult name to say. Ffish or fish. So already the cut-off being taken. These Volksgrenadiers don't stand a chance against 2 rifleman squads. The worker battle to the east still waging on. At a medium distance, good 15 meters, their, you know, submachine guns have no real value. Volksgrenadiers low on health. Each man of a Volksgrenadier squad has a larger relative health compared to a rifleman. Oh! 1 man versus 2 man in the worker squad. The riflemen have taken the west, but they don't have... Wehrmacht has hardly any linked territory. These engineers have been an absolute a beast unit for ffish here. And they're closing in! They smell blood! They smell blood! Seph has literally... Oh, and he's down. Seph really should have retreated at that point. Ah, but he's coming back in force in the west. Riflemen in a strong house, pioneers in a strong house. It's all going on here now. Pardon me. I was just checking something on my screen there just to make sure this cast is live. I have suffered that before, been casting to an empty screen. It has been known to happen. And bars early upgraded for ffish there. Excellent. Against that's incredibly quick bars. This eastern fuel point, which is has been an absolute godsend for ffish. And Seph with an entirely Unit 1 composition, no veterancy, is going to be plunder for the bars at this point. How can Seph possibly come back from this? You've got to be asking yourself at this position. I mean, he's against bars with 0 vet Volksgrenadiers, ineffective pioneers in a house. I mean, he's just taken the western fuel point now, but, well, he's yet to cap it, but... And yes, the green cover is now being utilised by the barred rifleman. This looks to be game over, and it's only 5 minutes 43 seconds. And it's interesting. We now have actually we can see what time the game is on. So the replay UI has started to come into the state we all know and love it. Ah, Volksgrenadier is nearly down. Ah, a shred of health by a thread. You see this, the engineers biding time for themselves in a secluded little hideout all the way to the western point of the map there, fearing there for their lives with an MG42 and Volksgrenadiers. The Volksgrenadiers smell them!
The enemy is seizing our territory.
Can you smell that, Klaus? The Yankees! Whiting the cut-off. Seph, for a large portion of this game, has only had 2 munition points, a plus 10 munitions and a plus 5 fuel. These riflemen have been absolute terrors for the Wehrmacht, fearing the bars at this point. And we've still yet to see any tier 2 tech. A med bunker coming up, however. Could this be the turning point? Maybe a few nice grenadiers, zombie grenadiers, would turn the tide of battle in manpower. But losing this many men on a consistent basis, the manpower drain has surely got to be in ffish's favour here. Well, let's just call him the American player. And he's capping all over the map. This guy seriously knows what he's doing, although he has not yet capped his VP, so the pressure's still in Seph's favour ever so slightly. It's the only form of pressure he is applying. Everywhere else is being dominated. Although finally he does have a plus 16 fuel under his command. Interesting to see that this sandbags here, obviously with these forward houses being in such a prominent position facing the northern player's base, sandbags are very useful there to get the occupying forces away from those strong houses.
Yes, comrade.
Finally dominating the western side of the map is Seph, but with this strategic point so you know, so vulnerable to being capped. You've got to fear for an American push, and here we go, what have we got here? We've got a combination of riflemen and engineers all pushing for the west. No mines whatsoever. In an expert level play at this game, maybe mines weren't quite prioritised as we prioritise them today. And fanning out, they launch themselves from their base, they fan out. They want to dominate, they want to use their bars to their advantage. And these Volksgrenadiers still with no vet.
The Yankees are grabbing our territory.
Prioritising fuel harassment there. And here we go, engineers going for the cut-off. But Seph seeing the danger, is now going for the eastern portion of the map.
Taking fire! The cowboys are shooting at us!
Clever bit of barbed wire from Seph there, trying to deny mobility of the American player. Just want to thwart his advances.
Where do you want us?
Still no bodies picked up from there, and we've got a Kriegsbarracks coming up, so tier 1, tier 2, and that's exactly what I was saying earlier on in this game. We've got a more diverse unit composition than we were seeing just, 7 or 8 months ago.
Our forward supply lines are broken.
In the early portion of 2007 and the death throes of 2006, when it was just a rush for tier 4, which is what we are going to see in Coming Heroes 2 in a few months' time. I guarantee you that. After playing Alpha, people will just want to prioritise getting those elephants on the those Ferdinand tanks on the ground as soon as possible. Spoiler alert.
The enemy is seizing our territory.
And these riflemen don't give a shit. They're using barbed wire as cover. They've got bars. Seph doesn't even have any veterancy. These pioneers perhaps going to construct. No, he's not prioritising veterancy enough at this stage for my liking. Oh, here we go. Finally, the Campcraft Centre is coming up. And these bars are being terrors. And finally, the medics spring into action. Oh, what do we have here? Yes, a mortar team. Ffish. So we have. Yes, we have not been looking at his tech, but we do have a WSC and we do have a motor peel coming up, so diverse unit composition, and the mortar, this 3-man mortar crew is going to rain terror on the Wehrmacht position. And this barbed wire perhaps is going to stop the mortar being flanked. It's going to be utterly invulnerable behind this heavy hedgerow. Volksgrenadiers down, that's the second unit down for Seph. Now we've had Volksgrenadiers and a Pioneer fall to the Yankees. Finally we have Grenadiers coming out. I can't confirm whether they are zombie Grenadiers or normal Grenadiers, but surely we will see zombie Grenadiers at some point if they are not. And this mortar, the mortar's feeling aggressive. It's got covering fire, supporting from its barbed riflemen. It's coming to get a better shot on these MGs. Grenadier grenade! The Grand Grenade! Just minor health damage there, nothing further. Bar suppression to excellent effect, keeping 3 men suppressed. Incredible usage there. And what do we see here? Perhaps this diamond indicates Vet 1 for the Wehrmacht player. We're not used to seeing it in that particular graphic. My inexperience with this game coming in to show that my eyes are fresh to this game at this stage. I've never seen it in 2007. Every game I'm watching of this Hall of Fame cast is not coming from experience, but coming from a joyous, noobish. Yeah, basically, you get what I'm trying to say. That's why I've endeavoured to do this. I want to see how the game was played. And perhaps it'll inform how Company of Heroes 2 will develop. Maybe we can see the lessons for players learned as they started to play this game. With the M3, 100 munitions perhaps used there for the quad mount. Ultimate effects there. Triage center, all the pieces of the American puzzle coming into play. Excellent. And the Volksgrenadiers fear the Fard riflemen. We got backup from a secondary squad, perhaps 2 will be enough. An excellent use of suppression again, with no mines placed whatsoever. Munitions are left to use for such novelties as bar suppression. But perhaps novelty's too not respectful enough of a word. Look at the effect this is having. The Quadmat, however, coming into excellent effect here with mortar backup. We've got combined mechanised warfare against the Wehrmacht here. And perhaps Seph, we could accuse him of not using enough of his army's potential at this stage. Only tier 1 and some grenadiers being used. We haven't seen any Shreks upgrade. Oh, I spoke too soon. My gut instinct for this game, because I'm an incredible level 10 player, just coming into effect there. We have our first Shrek upgrade. So this M3 half-track with its tiny amount of armour is going to be... Oh my god, the mortars come into play. Good grenade on the rifleman, however. Those Volksgrenadiers have got to get out of there. To the west, we've got some more bar suppression, keeping these Volksgrenadiers from capping any of the American territory. 2 Shreks upgraded for the Grenadiers. This M3 half-track is on borrowed time. Its effect on the battlefield, its impact was immediate, but it's not going to have a lingering effect with these Shreks. And immediately, it's going to have to go and get repairs. Reversing out of there, but the riflemen are blocking it. The Shreks. The Shreks missing horribly from long range, being hindered by the buildings. 1 rifleman squatted, enough to keep these Volksgrenadiers at bay for an extended period of time on the west there. More suppression. And Seph is he's got a bridgehead at the north of the map. And he's not really gotten much further away from it. The American territory gains have been dominant throughout this game. We've got an M8. An M8 armoured car coming out here. It's combined mechanised warfare being utilised quite fiendishly by ffish here. Which I've taken to calling him. Perhaps a player that would have known him back in the day can correct me in the comments with the correct pronunciation there. Vet 2 for the infantry. And sync error detected! Oh my, oh my! Thank you. What I am going to do from this point is make this part 1. And you'll find part 2 in an annotation link. I'm going to have to... Yeah, please click that. Join me in part 2. Thank you.